as you can see, we are trying something very different in this video than what I've normally done. So yeah, with that, let me know how it works for you guys. I'm going to be writing in this spiral notebook here. Gonna try and capture the writing sounds as best as I can. And we're gonna go through round by round. And I'm gonna give my favorite player in each round. And this is based on the FantasyPros consensus half PPR rankings. So maybe not like exactly ADP, but I think the most accurate we're gonna get, because I think Sleeper and ESPN and Yahoo all have pretty flawed ADPs. I think that's pretty obvious. And then Underdog ADP, best ball is just such a very different game. So I'm gonna use FantasyPros rankings for this. But yeah, so let me know if you can see. I zoomed in a little bit. Let me know if you could see what I'm writing, if you could hear what I'm writing, if you like the notebook sounds. Yeah, this is new for me as well, so we're gonna work through it together. But oh yeah, one last thing. If you want to do a fantasy league with me and other viewers, leave a comment. I'll make a Discord server, and then we could make videos about it as the weeks go on, and I think it would be fun. We have 7 people right now, including myself, so 3 more to 10, which would be really cool. 12 would be awesome, but yeah, only 3 more and we get to 10, which is perfectly fine for a league, so definitely let me know. Alright. We are starting with the round 1 players. Also, I just realized now, pardon my handwriting. It may not be the best. I'm also trying to exaggerate and write loudly because I did test this and it didn't pick up the writing sound super great. But if I write loud enough, it will hear it. So bear with me there. We're gonna number them 1 through 12 here. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, I gotta look around the microphone here to write. We have Jameer and Gibbs and Bijan Robinson and Jamar and Chase Boca Nagua Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm just gonna write JSN, save a little bit of time here. Amon Ra St. Brown, Christian McCaffrey, CMC, Jonathan Taylor, I'll just write JT, CeeDee Lamb in the 9th spot, and Jefferson, I'll say Jettas. Not sure if there's supposed to be 2 T's in Jettas, but here we are. James Cook, and final pick in the first round, according to FantasyPros, we have Ashton Genty. Just looking at it, I'm gonna do a quick zoom here. Sorry if that was abrupt. Yeah, we'll work it out. Yeah, let me know how this comes out for you guys. Looks a little bit, it's not that in focus, but also I don't know if that's just the lighting, but I don't want it to be super bright because it's an ASMR video, so we're gonna stick with this for now. But yeah, so of these 12 players, which one is my favorite? Also, I plan on doing this again, but with my least favorite, so I'm not gonna talk about everyone in this video. I'm just going to talk about my favorite, and if I'm not talking about them, I'll give my take on them in another video, likely down the line. So, of course, this is the first round. I like a lot of these players, obviously. Gibbs and Bijan, of course. Chase and Buka, of course. JSN, I like as well. Amon-Ra, I like. 6 is kind of weird. I feel like I'd rather take Amon-Ra later and have CMC and JT go before me, and then you grab Amon-Ra in the late first. I like James Cook a lot in the late first as well. This is kind of hard for, the first round of this kind of video, because obviously these players are deserving of first round picks. That's why they're here. But I would say my favorite is probably the 2 spot with Bijan, because you get either Gibbs or Bijan, and then you're a little bit closer on the second round. So I'm going to circle Bijan here. And then my next favorite would probably be Amon-Ra, because he's ranked 6th, but a lot of the time you can get him a little bit later because McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor go ahead of him. But yeah, it's the first round. A lot of great players. So we're going to move on from that. And we're going to head to the second round of players here. We have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, through 24. Trying to go as fast as I can here. Also, guys, writing on camera, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm writing weird. I don't know, like I wrote the 5 before the 1 there. I got ahead of myself. I don't know if you noticed that. Anywho, we have London, being Drake London, of course. A. J. Brown, that's a J. Bowers. Chase Brown, he doesn't have any sort of nickname. Saquon. A. Chan. Omarion. Hampton. Nico Collins. Derrick Henry. Pickens. Kenneth Walker, right, K9. I feel like people don't call him K9 as much anymore, but I like that nickname. And believe it or not, you have Trey McBride ranked 24th on FantasyPros. I'm also noticing that I am a lefty, so when I pick up my hand, the rings are making a noise on the table. Hopefully that's not unbearable. So favorite player in the second round. Also, I'm not sure how many rounds I'm gonna do. Just so you know, we'll see how long the video goes. But for round 2, not as perfect of profiles here. So who are the standouts to me? I like the running backs in round 2 a lot. I like Chase Brown and Saquon, so I'll circle them both. As main backs on good offenses. A-Chan is not on as good of an offense, so I'm not going to circle him. I will circle Hampton as well. New offensive coordinator with Mike McDonald, who made A-Chan what he is today. And they have their 2 elite tackles back. And Hampton has another year in the NFL, full off season. Yeah, I think he's a very exciting player. I wasn't as high on him as the other guys, like a couple weeks ago, but he's kind of growing on me because of those reasons that I stated. Chase Brown, just gonna catch a lot of passes. Saquon had a lot of touches 2 years ago, so having a down year last year was kind of to be expected. But maybe he could bounce back and there's no A.J. Brown, maybe they run the ball more. And I'm not sure. I don't want to circle so many players, and I won't as the rounds go on, but this is still the early rounds. So I'm going to honorable mention here George Pickens, if you want a receiver in this round. I think that Pickens and Lamb are going to be similar in production, so I'd rather take the cheaper guy of the Cowboys receivers. So I like Pickens a lot. So second round, if you want a receiver, I'd go with Pickens. Or I like the value of Pickens. That doesn't mean I would take Pickens over, Drake London or A.J. Brown in a vacuum, but I like the value of Pickens in the late second, and I like the running backs in this round. Okay. I'm gonna just write up here because I don't want to keep having to turn the page and move the entire book to turn the page. Round 3. So this is going to be 25 through 36. 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, and 36. And we are starting with Rashee Rice, Chris Olave. The first quarterback, Josh Allen, is 27 on Fantasy Pros. Then we're going to Devontae Smith, the newly paid Zay Flowers, Kyron, that's supposed to be an N, that's okay, Williams, T. Higgins, and Jeremiah the rookie, the third overall pick in the draft, Jeremiah Love, T-Mac, Tedero McMillan, Neighbors, Lamar, so 2 quarterbacks in this round, and then Josh and Jacobs. So, in this third round, my favorite player, I'm going to circle a couple here. Devontae Smith, I like a lot. He is one of the last wide receiver ones on good offenses left. So you definitely want to take those players when you can. And I think in the third round, that is more than a fair price for Devontae Smith. I'm also going to circle Neighbors. Neighbors is someone I did not think I would have this opinion of. When, a couple weeks ago, again, if you asked me, I would not have said, I would have told you that I'm not drafting Neighbors at all. However, the news out of camp has been good, and if you think about it, in the late third round, getting a wide receiver 1 who's very talented in an offense with a quarterback that people like, I would say more people than don't like him, and a coach that people like, and you're getting him in the late third round, I think it may just be too good of a price to pass up when he was a first round pick, last year. People that I'm not going to circle, but I'll honorable mention. Jeremiah Love, I really want to like, but the first round running back on a really bad team hasn't been a great bet recently. Now, Genty was going in the first, and now you have Jeremiah Love in the third, which is why I kind of wanted to circle him. But I don't know. It's such a crowded running back room in Arizona, and it's going to be a bad offense. And I mean, you might, because I was thinking it wasn't that bad of an offense last year, but really, if you think about it, it was a lot of garbage time passing, and if that's going to be the same situation, then Love isn't going to be the primary, like, benefactor of that either. So, honorable mention to Love, but I'm not going to circle him. Josh Jacobs. Obviously, he's in legal trouble right now. If he's going to play every game, and if, he's going to be a participant in training camp and, nothing's going to happen, you would want Josh Jacobs at the end of the third round. So, asterisk on him as well. And honorable mention Rashee Rice. He famously rehabbed a knee injury in county jail this offseason, which is insane. But when you actually think about it, the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver room is really bad behind him. So he is kind of growing on me a little bit. Another year older Travis Kelce and no other receivers behind him. I mean, obviously, if Worthy there was a first round pick, but he's kind of been doing nothing. So I almost circled Rashee Rice as well, but I'm sticking with Devontae Smith and Malik Neighbors for this round. So receiver is strong in the third round. Just looking at the side. I'm gonna mess around really quick with the focus. Just see if I can't get this. Nope, that's the other way. Okay. I mean, it's the same. This is what we're rocking with. Apologies if you can't see. Round 4. We're trying something new. It's okay. I'm gonna get a stand for my camera that will go so I could do top down. I'm kind of hanging my webcam off the top of my monitor. It's not the best setup, truth be told. But I kind of wanted to do this video like this, and I didn't feel like waiting to purchase something and have it ship in the mail before I got to record. So I'm just trying this idea with what I have right now. So 4th round, 37 through 48, we are going with Egbuka, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. The two Jets players back to back, pretty funny. Javonte Williams, Loveland, Ladd McConkey, Jalen Waddle, Drake May, Scary Terry, Travis Etienne, Devontae Adams, and Luther Burden. I accidentally put an E at the end of Luther for some reason. Again, I'm trying to write loudly, if you know what I mean. So, the handwriting is a little worse than even my standard, but here we go. 4th round. 2 names stand out immediately to me. I feel like doing the mock drafts, these are usually 3rd round picks. So, one of them is usually a 3rd round pick, so it kind of feels like cheating. But for the sake of the video, I think, Fantasy Pros F PPR rankings is a pretty, neutral, objective kind of ranking here. So I'm just going to point out that Breece Hall and Javonte Williams are very, very good picks in the 4th round to me. Javonte had a good year last year, and the Cowboys should be a good offense again. Breece Hall, opposite situation. The Jets are going to be a bad offense, but he is probably going to catch a lot of passes and catch a lot of checkdowns for the Jets. But yeah, I like them both in the 4th round here. For a receiver, my favorite receiver in this round is Waddle. Waddle being a wide receiver 1 in Denver, who should also be a good offense. People might be saying Ikbuka. I'm not sure. I just feel like there's bad vibes in Tampa Bay after how badly they finished the season last year and then kept the coach and the regime. So I'm not sold completely on Ikbuka. I know obviously Mike Evans isn't there anymore, but I like Waddle a little more, especially as he's the cheaper guy. So that was the 4th round here. We're going to have to turn the page. Video might cut, it might not. We'll see how quietly I can do this. I would like to keep that page turning sound in the video for you guys. Not sure how it will work out, but now we are up to the 5th round. We're 20 minutes in. I might just go 30-minute video. We'll see. I have, fourth wall break. I have all these players typed out, and I highlighted them green or red for my favorites and my least favorite. And I did that all the way down to round 10. But I don't know if we need to go all the way to round 10 if people will care that much about round 10, my favorite players. But we're just going to keep chugging along here. 49 through 60 now. 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. So this is the 5th round. We start off with a quarterback in Burrow. We have Scattaboo coming off an injury. Mike Evans on a new team, a new 49er team. Jameson Williams, I'm just going to write JMO for him. We have Jaden Daniels, also coming off an injury-ridden season. Tyler Warren, not a lot of fun nicknames as you go down. I guess the players lose aura as you go down the fantasy draft, so that kind of makes sense. We have Judkins, Swift, as in DeAndre, not Travis, Bucky, Irving, Christian Watson. You can't even just write Watson because I feel like that's not a identifiable enough name. Montgomery, I'm going to write Monty for David Montgomery. And then DJ Moore. Okay. Favorite picks in round 5. As we are moving further and further away, and the players have more and more question marks. Similar to Neighbors, I'm going to circle Cam Scattaboo. Seeing his injury last year looked so bad. I mean, his foot literally detached from his ankle. But somehow he's supposed to be good to go, and people are drafting him as if he's going to be good to go. Maybe not 100%. But, I mean, he's going in the 5th round. That's not nothing. And I kind of agree. If he's healthy, he's the last quality running back, I feel like, that you could take if you missed out on running backs early. Judkins is on a really bad offense, and then Montgomery, there's an argument for Montgomery. The Texans have a really good defense. He's going to be the early down back, so could they have the lead and, you run it with him? But I don't know, he's just not as exciting as Scattaboo. If they're in the same round, I'd rather have Scattaboo, so I'm going to circle him. Receivers. I'm gonna go with JMO and DJ Moore. I like Jameson Williams. I think that the Lions are gonna have a bounce back year. They went 9-8. They will probably finish better than that, and I think it's gonna be a good offense. So, give me Jameson Williams. I think their passing attack is very concentrated on Amon-Ra, JMO, and Laporta. With Gibbs mixing in. So I think he has a solid role on a good offense. So give me him in the 5th round. DJ Moore, wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I know people are kind of out on DJ Moore because he had a bad year last year, but I just think that Ben Johnson's system didn't vibe well with Ben Johnson's system, or Ben Johnson just didn't like him. But if you're the Bills and you spend a 2nd round pick or whatever it was to get him, you're obviously going to use him. And he's the most talented receiver they have. So I like DJ Moore a lot as well in this round. Favorite running back, I gotta circle Swift. I like Swift a lot. I know it just said Scadaboo's the last one. I'll move that down and say Swift is the last one. Although Swift has a little bit less upside than Scadaboo because I think Monangai could definitely steal touchdowns this year. But I think the Bears offense is going to be good. Year 2 in Ben Johnson's system, it's an offense that you want pieces of, ideally. And I think Swift in the 5th round is going to be on the field a lot. I think that's a really good pick. And then the last one I'm going to circle is actually Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels, this is like 20 picks since Lamar was 35 ranked. So we're like 20 picks past the previous quarterback. And you have someone with maybe not as safe, but basically as high of upside as the other 2 guys. So I think in the 5th round, if you're a gambling man and you want to take Jaden Daniels, or a gambling woman, and you want to take Jaden Daniels, I say go ahead. It could be a league-winning pick in the 5th round, honestly. All right, let's head to the 6th round, and potentially the last round I'm gonna do on this video. We'll see how we go. 61 through 72. Let's get it. 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. Apologize if you hear the stomping from the upstairs. I don't know. I have no control over that. Apologies. We have Trevion, Henderson, Hurts, Rome Odunze, Bashal Tootin, Jadarian Price, Tucker Kraft, Caleb Williams, Carnell Tate, the rookie receiver, 1st round, Justin Herbert, Jalen Warren, Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm just going to write MHJ, and Brian Thomas Jr., I'm just going to write PTJ for them. Kind of funny that they are both, let me slide that up, kind of funny that they are both right next to each other in these rankings. 6th round, I think still interesting players. But who do I think is the best pick at these prices? I'm going to do a real big circle right here. I'm going to have 3 players in here. Hurts, similar argument with Daniels. You have the upside of the running quarterbacks, and you're paying a much cheaper cost. I think Hurts might be my favorite quarterback value in like the entire draft this year in all of fantasy. I like Hurts a lot. I don't understand why from last year to this year he's like a round 6 pick. I get the drop, but he was like a 3-4 turn guy. Now he's going in the 6th. I like Hurts a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck in the past, but I would draft Hurts in the 6th round easily. I'm going to go out on a limb and circle Rome. I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why. Everyone is just so locked in that Burden and Loveland are the guys that you want in this passing offense. And I understand that that's because Ben Johnson was there when they were both drafted. Rome was drafted on the previous regime. So you'd think that Burden and Loveland would be his favorite players that he'll scheme for. But Burden, I believe, is more of a slot guy from what I remember of him coming out of school. And Loveland is obviously a tight end. I feel like Rome definitely will have a role on this offense and be on the field like every snap. So I don't know why the difference between him and Burden is so high. So I'm going to circle Rome, go out on a limb there. And then Tootin as well. Bajal Tootin. I'm not as confident in Rome and Tootin as I am in Hurts. But, I mean, it is in this range. He's going right next to Jadarian Price, who is a first-round rookie running back, but it was the 32nd pick. It's different than a Jeremiah Love, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan. He's a first round, but at the very last pick of the first round. And then you have Charbonnet breathing down his back, who is, coming in, waiting to steal all your touchdowns whenever he gets back. So I would rather take the guy who's in year 2 of a good offense when the number 1 running back from last year is gone and he could step up and maybe take some of that work. I mean, you've never seen him before, so that's kind of the argument against him. But I think he's an exciting player, and I think that the Jags could be good again. Maybe not 13-4 good, but, they still can beat up on the Titans and to a lesser extent, I think maybe beat up on the Colts. We'll see. Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles is a bit scary. But yeah, I think that it's a potential starting running back in the 6th round. You gotta go for it, right? I'm also gonna circle another big circle here. Actually, so I highlighted these players in green, but I'm actually not going to circle them now that we're doing the video. Caleb and Justin Herbert, I have highlighted in green because I do like them and I like this tier of quarterback. However, I wouldn't take them this close to Hurts. I thought they would go later, or at least be ranked later in these rankings. If someone's taking Jalen Hurts and 5 picks later you're taking Caleb, I don't like that value. If you're taking Caleb in the 7th round, or Herbert in the 7th round, I like that a lot better. But yeah, so I think Lamar and Josh are too expensive, and then all these other quarterbacks up to Caleb and Herbert, I think are good picks. But you want to get one that's a little bit cheaper, I would say. So I like Caleb and Herbert. I'm not going to circle them for this because they're going a little bit too close to Hurts on this ranking. So if this is how it's going to be drafted, I wouldn't like him as much. But the player in the middle of them, I will still circle, which is Carnell Tate. First round, early first round, NFL receiver pick. Gonna be the best wide receiver on his team. You have Calvin Ridley, who's older, and I don't know what he even did last year, to be honest. Call me a casual, but yeah, I don't remember Calvin Ridley. Maybe he got hurt. I don't know. And then they signed Wandale. But I don't think Wandale should scare you off like the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft. I would be more scared of Cam Ward than Wandale Robinson, just to be honest. I think that's more of a concern, would be Ward just not having it, rather than, Wandale or Calvin Ridley, taking his job, right? Or stopping him from being the one. And I'm also going to circle Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas, famously, like, a 2nd round pick last year, late 1st round pick maybe even, and was very, very bad. However, I'll give him another year. Spoiler alert for the worst picks video, I would circle Marvin Harrison. I'm out on Marvin Harrison. Brian Thomas, I'll give another chance to. I think he was too good in his first year to just be a complete nobody from there on. It's a little bit suspect because you have Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, and Travis Hunter. So that's 3 receivers that are like potentially going to be used. Well, not potentially going to be used, they are going to be used. I mean, watching as someone who had Brian Thomas last year, it seemed like every pass Lawrence would throw would be caught by Parker Washington. So, I mean, it is concerning, but obviously he's much cheaper this year. And I do think he's very, very talented, so I will take a risk one more year on Brian Thomas. And I think, should we do one more? I think we're going to do one more. We're going to do round 7 here. I was going to say get a little bit deep in the weeds, but honestly, this isn't that deep in the weeds if you're going, theoretically you're going, 15 rounds? So we're not even, halfway. But I feel like for YouTube content-wise, we're getting a little bit deep in the weeds. I mean, people aren't that excited to talk about these guys, but I think there's enough interesting names here. And we're at 37 minutes. I'd like to cross over to 40 minutes. That's what I usually do. So we're going to stop it here. I mean, maybe I could just pull up my computer screen. We'll do the other ones quick. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so 73. We have Tony Pollard, then DK Metcalf, and then the aforementioned Parker Washington. Harold Fannin, the young tight end out of Cleveland. Ramondre Stevenson. Trevor Lawrence. And Dak Prescott. Sam Laporta. The newly paid Alec Pierce. Joe Bobbard. The fantasy famous or infamous Kyle Pitts. And then Rico Dowdle. So, as you can see, it's getting less and less interesting as we go down. However, there are still players that I think are, good to draft in this range, obviously. I'm going to start with Ramondre. Now, do I feel super great about Ramondre? No. But, and I know that sounds weird because I'm circling him, but I kind of came to this conclusion because I really think that Trevion Henderson is going way too high, and I don't see why they're going to be so different from last year with Trevion. I think it makes sense. Ramondre's role will stay the same, and then Trevion will be the pass catcher, explosive kind of change of pace guy. Now you could say the argument is he was a rookie last year, so now he's going to expand his role. I mean, like, I guess that's a fair argument, but I just don't. I'm just out on Trevion this year. And if I'm out on Trevion, I guess that means I should, like, logically be a little more in on Ramondre. So I'm going to give him the shout out here in this video. Other players I like. I like Laporta. I think Laporta in round 7 is a good value. I think tight end kind of gets a little bit gross from here. I mean, obviously you have Pitts, but Pitts I feel like kind of had a lot of spike, really big games, but not consistent production last year. And I just don't know if I believe that much in Michael Penix and Tua, and I'd rather have the Detroit Lion player than the Atlanta Falcon player. So I'll circle Laporta. And then Alec Pierce. I don't think Alec Pierce is worth as much money as he got, but the team signed him to a very lucrative deal, and he should theoretically be the wide receiver 1 of the Colts. So getting a wide receiver 1 in round 7, I think, is just worth the risk with Alec Pierce. And then I'm going to honorable mention, I don't know if I'm going to go full circle, but I'll honorable mention Rico Dowdle, because obviously Jalen Warren is in Pittsburgh. Jalen Warren never gets to be the guy. They're always going to have another guy in Pittsburgh, it feels like. But Rico Dowdle was so good last year that maybe it'll be more of a 1A, 1B situation. And maybe he could take some work from Jalen Warren. And then obviously if Warren ever goes down, then Dowdle is a top, at least an RB2 every week in fantasy. But I'm not going to circle him because I do think it's a little bit like, if you could have Alec Pierce, who's wide receiver 1 of a team, or you could take a probably RB2 of a team. I just don't think he's worth a circle, but he is interesting to me because he was so good, so maybe Jalen Warren isn't as secure. But alright guys, that is going to do it from me. Let me know what you thought of this format. Let me know if you like the notebook sounds, or if you think that the notebook is a good idea, but maybe the execution wasn't the best. Let me know. Like I said, I'm already planning on getting a camera stand so that it can be a little more in focus for you guys. But yeah, also let me know what you think of my takes. Who's your favorite player in each round? You could play along. When you look at the list of 12 players I have, let me know your favorite, who you would take. And again, as always, I'm trying to start that fantasy league. We need 3 more people to make it a 10-man. Let me know if you're interested. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.